welcome to the Aired Out podcast on this balmy Thursday morning. It is frigid. G-Spot with me this morning. And I'll tell you right now, it seems like the older I get, and I don't want to sound like a wimp or anything, but it's just what it is. The older I get, man, it's like the harder it is to deal with these temperatures. And yesterday, I was complaining. I was like, oh. Every time I get out of the car, it's frigid, man. It's like, and yesterday, in this time of year, I go into an absolute, and I know our friends and our listeners down south, they don't understand this, but I went into an absolute panic, and I do go into absolute panics this time of year when I can't find my chapstick. I'll be driving down the road. I've pulled over, and I've been looking under the seat for it. I'm like, ow. People don't understand this.
Oh, yeah. No, chapstick is very important.
Yeah, it is.
It's the reason cars get into accidents. Because people spend all their time looking for their chapstick instead of driving. I can see how that's an issue.
Good morning to you, buddy.
Good morning. Hey, can I make a quick statement?
Yeah.
Really quick?
Yeah, of course. We got some birthdays to get to, too. Yeah,
all right,
go, of
just
course.
Really quick.
Sure.
Jed.
Yeah.
I need you to go to the stairs and get that paper that I keep my keys on. Scan it and shoot it over to me in an email really quickly.
Do you think Jed's listening?
I hope so, because I really need that done.
Should we call him up and put him on the air?
Let's do that.
I can do that.
He could be in a meeting, but who cares?
All right. Katrina Bradeen is on the birthday list today, along with Elizabeth Peralt. That lady right there is an angel. I adore her. And to think that yesterday was Maisie's birthday, Maisie Lajeunesse, and the very next day, Elizabeth's birthday. It's amazing. I know I missed out last night at the Post. Chris Barbieri, great guy. Happy birthday, Chris. I look forward to the Vermont Antique and Classic Car Show this coming summer. Chris has the wheel on that, and has for a very long time, and he's amazing. Kay Shangra on the list today. Happy birthday to you as well. You've got the Aired Out podcast from Fly on the Wall Productions, Facebook and YouTube, streamed everywhere you get your podcasts, and on the web at airedoutvt.com. Don't forget, Rex is going to be with us tomorrow. Here's what we're looking at weather-wise on this Thursday. Are you ready for this?
Bring it.
It's not it's not that bad. It's not as bad as yesterday. 18 degrees for the high today. We're looking at a few snow showers. Otherwise, a good deal of clouds today. And again, 18 tonight. We've got 14 degrees, overcast skies, and then Friday tomorrow, 22, which is going to seem like a heat wave compared to yesterday. A little bit of sunshine, again, 22 degrees. Weekend at this point, Saturday, some snow showers, mainly in the morning, 22 degrees. Not much snow, maybe an inch or so. And then on Sunday, a balmy 27 with a mix of sun and clouds. And I know Stacy Holden is down in North Carolina. And just, Stacy, what are you saying? 44 this morning, or not in North Carolina, Florida. 44 degrees this morning in Fort Pierce. Yeah. 44, which is that's like an Arctic blast
summer.
Down there. No, that's an Arctic blast down there for those.
Oh, yeah, but it's summer for us.
Well, of course it is.
44. My God, I'd wear shorts.
Yeah. Well, they can't handle these.
Meanwhile, I got long johns on. I got everything on.
Daytime high of 63 later today, he's saying. Amazing. Gee, I don't even know where to begin with you, buddy. Should we begin with that?
With what I'm sitting on?
Yes. Please do tell, and I'm gonna pull up Jed here and get him on. Okay.
I have him doing it for me.
Oh, he is.
So he must have heard us.
All right.
He must be on.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What's up with the couch, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way.
Well, let me start by saying you and I have been talking about putting some kind of a red tufted couch here. And so I did. You know, I was looking and you were like, "Oh, don't spend money. I have to approve it, blah blah blah." Because it's your show, so I guess you thought you were in control. So what I did was I was looking on Facebook through messengers and through the Facebook marketplace and on all other places. And I saw this couch, and this person had it for $500, but they were moving out.
Yeah.
And it was in storage, and they had to clean storage out before they left.
Okay.
And this was the last piece sitting in storage. So I sent you the picture. I says, "What do you think?" And you were like, "Oh, my God, that's gorgeous. How much?" And I said, "Free." And right away, you got like, I don't know, a hard-on or something over it. Yeah. So we went to pick it up, you, me, and Jed. And we took my truck, and we decided to stop and get coffee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't drink coffee, but I got my drink, my juice. And Jed and you went into the place and got coffee. I'm gonna say it because you're so scatterbrained and so blah. So Jed comes out and he gets in the truck, and life is good, and we're waiting for you, and out you come, and you go over to this white. Now understand, what color is my truck, JD?
Black.
Dark gray.
All right.
And you go over to this white, I think it was a Suburban.
You're really mean. You know that you even have to differentiate the difference of colors of these two vehicles.
So
thanks.
You no problem. So you went to this white Suburban, opened the back door, and climbed in. In. And the guy in the place comes out like, "Hey, dude, that's my car." You look in the car and say, "Oh, it doesn't smell right." And then you looked around and said, "Oh, shit." And you got out of the car and you waved to the guy like, "My bad." And you climbed into my truck. And I looked at you and I says, "What the fuck?" And you said, "I don't know. I climbed into the first vehicle I got to." Who does that?
Me.
Clearly. I mean, you got into a white Suburban, and I have a dark gray pickup with coffee in hand, like you own it. Where's my glasses?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm glad his wife wasn't in there.
I'm glad there wasn't any children in there.
That too, very much. And you know me. It's like when I'm often just flying with my words.
Often, yes.
And I'm just glad that I didn't get in there and be like, "Wow, she was a bitch." Anyway, let's roll, fuckers.
We're not going to say the place, but they are kind of bitchy there, aren't they? They're like they're not even happy there.
Yeah.
That's why I stayed in the truck.
You got a good point there. Yeah.
But it was hysterical. And then now we're going to pick up this couch, and it's snowing.
Colder
than a
balls.
witch's. Yes.
Tit in a brass bra.
Yes, it was horrible. I had the heat on the whole way, my heated steering wheel, my heated seats. I'm bundled up, the whole thing for the drive in the truck. We get there, and first of all, the place is covered in snow.
Yeah.
It wasn't plowed. So we didn't even know where the entrance was.
Right.
We finally pull in, and you're like, you want me to get out and direct it? I says, I got backup cameras. Relax.
The
So
wind is whipping. It's
the
an
wind is
Arctic
whipping. Yes.
tundra.
Yes. And we get into the spot, and we open it up, and there's the couch sitting there. And I looked at you and Jed, and I says, well, feel free to load it up. I'm going to go sit back in the truck because I was freaking cold.
Yeah.
And Jed's like, oh, my hands are cold. Gee, let me borrow your gloves. And you're like,
The guy's
are we
wearing
gonna get
shorts.
well, that's...
Why is he wearing shorts?
He wears shorts all the time, so don't bitch that your hands are cold. You know what I'm saying? Put your hands in your pockets. Oh, wait, they're shorts, so they can't warm up. So I loan him my gloves. You're out there bitching that it's cold. I'm in the truck as happy as a clam listening to my pit bull station. You get it into the truck. You tie it. Now, half of this couch is sticking out,
Right.
okay? And you're like, gee, the weather. I said, it's going to get wet. That's the worst. I got to calm down.
Right.
We get back in the truck and we're driving. We didn't even move like 5 inches. And Jed's like looking back to see if it's okay. I'm like, dude, I can see it in my rear view mirror.
Yeah.
Calm down. Yeah, and we get it here, and the whole ride home, it stopped snowing, so the couch was nice and safe. But yeah, it's always an adventure when I go out with you.
It always is.
Either you or I get in trouble.
Yeah.
This was yours this time. But I've done some shit too.
I know. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with you two.
We had a
crazies.
great time, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Going and picking up a couch, and we had so many laughs.
Oh my God, we laughed for like the whole ride.
And the conversation on the way, not only there but on the way back. We won't tell anyone what that conversation is. But, oh my God.
No, we try very hard to.
Stacy Holden saying it's surprising that he didn't end up on a milk carton as a kid. Wow.
That's true.
We have a lot to get to. Yesterday was the first day of the 2025 legislative session. I was at the State House for a little bit and had some connectivity issues there. I think there were so many people pulling the broadband there that it just kept crashing. So, but I tried to go live a couple of times, and it was kind of an experience seeing all that. And I got to tell you, I wonder what's going to be happening now. I mean, this is it. It's showtime now here in Vermont, and a lot of really, really big decisions have to be made. One of them is the federal government is giving America a $13 billion spending allowance to help with natural disasters.
Now, is this America, the America that's also Greenland? Is it America that's become like the Mexican? Is it Mexico America now? Is it what is it? Because now the Mexican president is complaining about Trump wanting to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yes.
So do they get included? I mean, is it just America right now?
Great question.
Just curious.
This money is to be spent on natural disasters, and I know obviously. Out west, if you see what's going on, I mean, California is just, my God, prayers for everyone out there. Northern California wildfires. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the Palisades.
Well, there's 4 new fires that have sparked from it.
And yesterday they had like 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. Yep.
With a wildfire going on at the same time.
Well, thank God it's not about global warming, huh?
Right.
That's important,
Some of these homes were like spontaneous combustion.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
They were just going poof.
Yeah, there's a whole town. They were doing it this morning on the Today Show. There's a whole town that
Just
they drove through, completely gone.
Yeah.
Like they drove through the town, and the guy that was reporting, it was his hometown.
Right.
And he went to his house that he grew up in, and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was just demolished.
Well, of the $13 billion, Vermont is going to get some of this. I'll tell you in a second how much. But Vermont's going to get some
$10.
from the July 2023 flood.
Right.
Vermont is going to get, are you ready for this?
I'm always ready for anything.
68
Dollars.
point something million.
Okay.
And for the next month or so, those in the big seats are going to be trying to determine exactly how this money is going to be spent. Now, I don't know about you, but it seems like the obvious thing is housing.
You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
This is Vermont's opportunity right here. Well, kind of. To
step up
and make a decision that is going to impact the history of our state going forward.
Right.
If we're going to keep people here, we're going to keep teachers, workers, healthcare folks, we're going to keep the working class staying in this state. Here's your opportunity right here. $68 million. And if you're going to start putting this into horse shit that doesn't have any real substance to it, we don't need another art project in Burlington. We don't need upgrades to the bike path in Burlington.
Right.
We need real, good, solid change. Tangible shit.
Change.
Right.
Change that we see that's benefiting.
Right.
Okay.
Not refurbishing of an opera house in some community.
Right.
That's different.
Well, that brings me to something, and I wanted to know, can I read something to you?
Please.
Okay. I got an email from a listener who emailed me and said, I can't get down there to talk about it myself because I'm working.
Okay.
But can you please read this and share my views if possible? And you and I talked about it, and I'd like to read the email to everybody so that they can ponder this. Because this is an important topic right here in our town. Okay? So I'm going to read this.
Okay.
And this is on City Council Mayor Lozon's actions and the arguments on social media regarding the $400,000 grant to BADC for the purchase of the property at 143 North Main Street.
All right. That's the J.J. Newberry's building.
Yes.
Right down the road. And let's just preface by saying we just had the city manager, Nicholas Storelli-Castro, was just in here talking about this a little bit. I also want to say that Steve McKenzie, the former city manager, is going to be coming in next week to discuss this. And after Steve, with respect to Steve speaking next on it, Mayor Lozon says that he's also going to be coming on the air to sit and talk about this.
Good.
So let's say that first. Let's also say, as kind of a little disclaimer, this is an email that you received from someone.
From a viewer, yes.
I haven't read this email. I haven't heard anything.
It's very well written.
All right. This is not necessarily, and I'll put the disclaimer in right now, my opinion.
Or mine.
Or yours.
Correct.
Or the opinion of the Aired Out podcast.
Correct.
This is the opinion of a listener who wrote this in.
Yes.
And I don't know what this is.
Right.
So,
it's very well written.
All right.
And it's very concise and very well thought out. And that's the only reason I want to I want to read it
All
because
right.
it's more directed to our community.
Get ready with your comments, folks. I love to see what people have to say.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So
You
it's
have the microphone.
it's on very small print, so I'm bringing it up close. Okay. I have read hundreds of posts and comments on Facebook and Front Porch Forum. As a longtime resident of Barrie and one who pays close attention to what's going on in central Vermont, I feel compelled to bring some perspective to this issue that is clearly dividing us. The main argument is, why should our tax dollars pay for this when we have so many other problems? No one is disputing the fact that Barrie City taxes are high, and no one is disputing the fact that we have a lot of issues that need to be addressed now. We have a huge population of homeless people and people living in poverty. We have roads and water sewer infrastructure in serious needs of updates and repair. We need flood plans and mitigation. But in the case of 143 North Main Street decision, the problem doesn't lie with the potential sale of the useless building. It lies in the way it was presented to the public. Until a few days ago, there was no information available to the public regarding City Council's decision to grant $400,000 to BADC. There are now several articles on the subject from reputable news sources, if one is willing to take the time to read and consider all sides before making inflammatory comments online. I'd like to call on all Barrie City residents to do their research before... Okay. No, I screwed that up. I'd like Barrie City residents to do their research before creating unnecessary drama. This argument has created, perhaps unintentionally, a smokescreen that distracts everyone from the real issues in this community. I'd also like to call on Mayor Lozon and Councilor Deering to explain to the public why they feel the need to push this through so quickly and quietly. They're not without fault in this mess. Our city government used to be just that, Barrie residents working for the good of all community. Now it seems like everything has to be one group against the other. We need to learn to think of ourselves we need to learn to think for ourselves and quit playing political games. So this person is not necessarily saying right or wrong. This person is saying that the community is not doing their research, and all they're doing is throwing back and forth innuendos and comments. And this person wants to know why this plan of $400,000 was made and passed without the community even knowing until after the fact. That's what I'm getting out of this. So I wanted the viewers to listen to that and say, okay, let me do some more research before I make a final decision on how I feel about it. And let's spend that money in better places, like the roads, like the sewer systems, like the poor people who can't even afford to buy food, or the homeless who are out there in this kind of weather. We're complaining that we're cold and we have a house and warm cars. They're outside in it. So I just wanted to point that out so people can do some more research. That's all.
There is so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're welcome.
This, and this is something that has been, this building has been an eyesore for a long time. I know the media keeps saying 15 years. Longer than that, man.
Right.
Does anybody know, if we can get a comment here, that'd be great, when that building went vacant?
Mm-hmm.
because I remember complaining about that building way back in the early days of Froggy
Right.
with Tom on the air with me.
Right.
And again, Mayor Lozon will be coming on the air with me very soon, along with Steve McKenzie, and we're going to ask the tough questions.
And this is, again, not mine or your view.
Right.
Okay, we have opinions and we're entitled to them also. But we tend to, yours and my opinions that we do, we tend to investigate first and get facts. It sounds like this viewer has done their homework. I know for a fact that this viewer is very in tune to what goes on in the city and in the town.
Sure.
And this viewer is not one who usually, I know for a fact, is not one who usually steps out and beats their chest and makes their opinion known a lot.
Sure.
Okay, they just do a lot of
They're
research.
pretty reserved.
And sometimes we'll contact a council member or whatever to discuss. But for this viewer to say, I'd really love for you to get this out there so that people can become more informed before fighting with each other.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean,
going to war and not knowing what you're fighting for.
Sure. Barry City residents are going to vote with their pocketbooks on this.
Mm-hmm.
How BADC is going to find $600K is, I don't know how they'll do that.
And that's not really our concern
That's
because
not-
they're a
yeah,
private entity.
They are.
And they can spend $1 million
Sure.
on
Sure.
coffee if they
Sure.
want.
I have no idea what their budget is.
But I don't. Well, apparently their budget is $600 for them, which leaves $400 for us that
Right.
we should be using, just like the money we're getting from the
Sure.
government. We should be using it to help. I would think.
It wasn't that long ago. Well, I mean, there you go. You just said it. It wasn't long ago that I believe, and I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if someone can comment on when they think the J.J. Newberry building became vacant.
And if it's been over 15 years, is this really the priority thing to spend our money on right now?
Well,
I'm just saying, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's a good question, but it is such an incredible eyesore. It's not just a small eyesore. It's huge.
Knock it down. But it's historic.
I don't
So
know
we
that it's
can't-
historic.
Well, we need to find out that. I think the listeners, the viewers, and the community don't know all the details. And if it is historic, then that's another thing we need to take into consideration. If it's not historic and it's such an eyesore, do something with it for Christmas' sake.
Yeah.
And again, we don't give our opinions on the air about something like this until we do our research. And doing the research is having Mackenzie on and having Lozon on.
Yeah.
You know, and finding out what the thought process not only was,
Yeah.
but on top of what the thought process of shelling out that money is, but also why was that done so quick and quiet? You know, what's the story? And I think Tom Lozon's an amazing person. I have a lot of respect for Tom in a lot of different capacities. So I think him coming on and clarifying for the community is he's not going to come on and give bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a bullshit kind of guy.
Oh, no.
So he'll come on and he'll say, listen, this is what we did. This is why we did it. If people are upset, we can't make everybody happy.
Sure.
Or he's going to say, you know what? Maybe we were premature. I don't know what he's going to say, but what he says usually is pretty factual.
It was several months ago, maybe, I mean, it could have been easily over a year ago now, when it was kind of being pushed around that the price tag on that building was something, please don't quote me, but I think it was
Very
around $1.6
Yeah.
million.
Mhm.
And the feeling that many Central Vermonters had, Barre City residents, was that it was priced way too high, which
on purpose.
on purpose. And I don't know.
We don't know that for a fact.
I don't know that.
We're saying the conclusion based on the optics.
But for a property to sit, such a huge property, to sit and be such an eyesore for so long at a price tag of 1.6, again, don't quote me on that. And if someone knows, please enlighten me. Prevented anything from being done with that building.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's been down to $1 million, what I have heard from conversations that I've had is that Jeff Jacobs, who is, I've never met Jeff. I don't know anything about Jeff, who is the owner of the property, that he is so wealthy. This is what I've heard.
Right.
That he is so wealthy, why wouldn't he just gift the building to the city and say, look, I don't really need the $1 million.
Right.
Who doesn't need $1 million? I'm just saying. I would love to see something productive done, something functional done with that space.
Right.
So, hey, Barry. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
This
well,
is
it's obviously some
so
kind
the money is not going to be take that $1 million that you're going to spend and spend it
wisely.
If you guys will spend $1 million on a community room or a teen center or something else, or $1 million to repair a bridge that keeps getting jammed up during floods or whatever, or something. You listen, you're going to give me $1 million, spend it elsewhere, and I'll give you the building for free.
Right.
And you can tear it down and build some housing. Manager Storella Castro said, maybe some housing and some retail combined, maybe not. He also made it very clear that he was a pretty transparent guy.
Oh, yeah.
That he really wants community interaction with what they would like to see done with that space, which is a really big space.
Well, the communities...
Do we need more than, do we need parking in Barre? Hell yes. Do we need housing more? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of space over there.
Mm-hmm.
And
the community, though, has been shooting all over Facebook and everywhere else ideas of what they want to see
right
in Barre City.
Sure.
And, people want to see a nice diner.
Yeah.
People want to see a nice restaurant. They want to see decent shopping here at good prices. And we don't want to have some expensive store come in that people can't afford to shop in. Okay, we want mom and pop businesses and stuff like that. Two of the problems with that is, number one, and I hate to say it, but as a community member, I'm entitled to my opinion, but the taxes are too damn high to own anything
sure
on the strip or off the strip here.
Sure.
So it's hard for mom and pop businesses to come in and run a business with the taxes so high, and nobody's listening to what we want. Why don't we have some affordable retail places that the lower income families that want to come to Barre can afford to shop in? Because right now they can't. And why don't we have better housing for not only the people that are on the lower income, but people that have money?
Sure.
That want to move here, but when they move here, they look at a lot of the housing that's here, and it's dilapidated, and it's just who wants to move into an area that has all subsidized housing?
Sure.
So you have to do both. So there's a lot of issues where the money should go.
Yes.
But I honestly think that the money should go to, if we're going to make the Strip pretty, because we do a nice job with lights during the holidays. We do a beautiful job with flags up during important holidays and events and things like that. We do parades. We do all that. But then people that come into Barrie from out of town, perfect example, we had some people coming in from Long Island. And they drove through Barrie, and when I caught up with them, because they did a Airbnb here, so we went to where they were staying, and they said, why is everything so empty? Why are all it looks like half a ghost town and half a we're trying to run businesses.
Sure.
And so why don't we work on that? And the roads, they were saying, oh my God, we had to drive around potholes and stuff like that. And your roads are so torn up.
Right.
And I know that
but
I know that Barrie City has increased taxes over the years for infrastructure and stuff. So where's that money? Okay, where's the infrastructure? Because it needs to be done. I go up Hill Street every day, and I am constantly in the oncoming lane to avoid the potholes.
Yeah.
And I drive a truck.
Right.
Okay, so these things need to be addressed too.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a building that's an eyesore, and something needs to be done, but something needs to be done with a lot of more important things too.
Yeah, yeah.
So it could be a catch-22. It could be that the person who's selling the building, there's blood between him and Barrie. There's got to be, whether it's bad blood, good blood. There's something there.
I wonder about that. I do.
There has to be a reason why he put the price so high so that nobody could have that building, and now he's coming down.
I wonder about this. I don't know.
I don't know anything about his relationship with Barrie.
I don't either, and I don't know that there's bad blood there, but maybe there is.
Maybe there is. I don't know.
But
this is what happens.
Listen, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that building's not worth anywhere near $1.6 million.
But this is why the community is battling back and forth, and that battle has become a smokescreen from the actual situation, because we don't know what the story is.
Yeah.
We don't know why that building looks like that. We don't know why that building's been empty for so long.
It looks
we don't
like
know
that
where,
because it's been fucking neglected for
and we
a
don't
long,
know
long time.
why Barrie City's decided to fork up $400,000 towards it. Nobody knows. So people are speculating, and they're all battling back and forth.
Yeah.
So everybody just shut up.
Just calm down.
And let's get the people that you've got coming in to address that for us.
Sure.
They should have probably addressed it at council meetings for us. But now let's just stop and listen. And then we can draw. I have a lot of opinions in life, but my opinions are drawn based on my research.
Sure.
Not based on Mary down the street says blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to agree with her. Okay? If she says this, I'm going to look and see why and do my research, and then I can formulate an opinion. There's not enough out there to formulate an opinion.
Yeah. This is something we'll continue to talk about here.
Yes.
It sure is. You ready for the Thursday morning big dilemma?
Yes.
All right. This was emailed to me, and it's a rather long email, and I'm going to abbreviate the end of it here. But it says, JD, I would rather not use the name of the dealership or even make of my vehicle, but my vehicle has just over 90,000 miles on it, and recently would randomly shift into neutral while I was driving down the road. I'm not a mechanic, and I really didn't suspect much, so I would just put it back into drive and think nothing of it. The dealership that I bought it from is supposed to support a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and or 10 years. When I called the dealership, they didn't even have my name in their system for being a customer when I purchased this vehicle.
Wow.
After some time, they finally found my name and then said that they would check into the warranty and get back to me. Several days passed, and after a few days of not hearing, I called them back, and they had no record of my name again or of my conversation from several days earlier about having my vehicle examined. They told me that I could make an appointment and that it would cost me $150 an hour to diagnose the issues. 3 weeks later, I finally had my appointment, and it was, in fact, determined that it needs a new transmission. The email goes on and on about calling back and specifically requesting a certain individual that they spoke with and getting transferred to somebody else's voicemail. And they're just backpedaling.
Mm-hmm.
And this person, like this person that wrote this email to you, is not one to complain.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty quiet, pretty reserved, pretty private person. So they say. And I don't know this person.
Right.
But they basically, this guy is, his wife very, very much wants him to post a pretty powerful review on Google. And he is just explaining that that's not really who I am, and we need more positive reviews than we do negative reviews. And most people post negative reviews.
Right. But it's bad business.
But it's bad business, but his wife is really after him. She's like, well, if you don't post it, I'm going to post it.
Well, I agree.
What say G?
Okay, and he takes his headphones off. What says me? The way I see this is, number one, I think you should post it. But I think better is to contact the media, contact the newspapers. This is bad business. And what's happened is, since the pandemic, businesses are trying to bounce back. And I get that, because we all took big hits during the pandemic. But the bottom line is, you don't try to bounce back by cutting corners on your customers' needs. And this has happened to many people, that they go to a dealership and they sign for their warranties and everything else, and we pay for those warranties. It's not like, oh, we're throwing it in as a gift. They're not throwing it in as a gift. If you buy a brand new vehicle, the price of the vehicle reflects the addition of the warranty. So they say, oh, when you buy this vehicle, you get 100,000 miles or whatever. The price has been put it there for a reason. It covers the warranty as well. And if you're signing the documents that says that, and then you have an issue with your vehicle that's genuine, because there's some people that say, oh, my tire went flat, they should replace it. Well, that's wear and tear, okay? But when you're signing for a car or a truck or a vehicle of any kind, and there's a warranty, and you call up the business that you purchased it from, and number one, they can't find you. Number two, they don't respond to you. Okay, that's just bad business. Yeah. And I do compliment this person who sent you the email, that they didn't throw the business under the bus and didn't use the business name and stuff, because they respect the fact that the person they're dealing with it's not them.
Right.
And that's one of the things I always laugh at is, I'm going to yell at that manager and tell him he sucks at his job. The manager is doing what he's told to do. Okay, the business should be backing up the manager. And the manager should have been able to, A, find the person's name, because you just spent money there. And we didn't spend $10. We spent thousands.
90,000 miles ago, but
Yeah.
still.
But you know what? If you have a 100,000-mile warranty, you still got 10,000 miles to complain if something goes wrong.
This is it's a long email, but
Right.
basically he's got almost 4 years left in his 10-year warranty.
Right. And so he's entitled. And when they say they found that the fault is that, this person's driving around with this vehicle could get into an accident,
Sure.
could harm not only himself or herself, but other people. You know, this is like I always say with drunk driving. I don't care if you drink till you're drunk as a skunk and you hit a telephone pole, okay? That's on you, or you hit a tree. But the thing that upsets me is the damage they do to other people because of their carelessness. Well, this business, it has the potential of doing damage to the driver and also to other people on the road, people crossing a street or whatever. So when somebody calls a dealership and says, I'm having a mechanical issue that if I was the dealer, I wouldn't even give a shit what your name is.
Yeah.
Okay, if your fee, I'd say, please bring it in immediately, and we'll get all that other information when you're here.
Right.
Okay, and it doesn't say much about the business's view on their customers if they can't even find the paperwork on this customer. So I say to the wife, I agree with you. I say to the husband, I respect your privacy.
Yeah.
But then let your wife post whatever and let you and contact the media.
Sure.
Contact 7 Days. And get your article printed, and also see if you can have somebody do research on the business as to how reputable they are after COVID.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're just trying to make money and not worried about who they're selling to. And that's an issue too.
Interesting insight there, G.
So, well, it was the G-Spot corner that we always say. We pick something on the corner.
Facebook question of the day. Artificial intelligence is coming for your job. Certain jobs.
Mm-hmm. Postal.
About 40% of employees or employers worldwide intend to downsize their workforce as AI automates certain tasks. Postal clerks, secretaries, payroll clerks are among the jobs that are expected to experience the fastest decline in numbers in the coming years. What say you, buddy?
I have a problem with AI on a lot of levels. I mean, AI has become beneficial. It's beneficial in our phones. It's beneficial when we do things. That's great.
You did the AI photo on your Facebook.
I know. Isn't that fun? It makes me look 10 times younger. Okay. But taking jobs from people, I get it. It's more efficient and the companies save money and all that. But then what happens to those people who have been loyal to the company for all these years?
Right.
You know, if that person retires and the company says, well, this person's retiring in January because they've hit 68 years old or whatever, let's look into replacing this person with an AI program or whatever that'll be more efficient. I'm cool with that because it's going to happen. But let's not take jobs from people who have been there for 10 years, 15 years dedicated and say, listen, you cost too much, so now we're going to bump you off and leave you out in the wind.
It's going to happen, though, buddy.
I know. It's another controversial subject.
Yeah.
Just like they worry about, is AI going to get too smart?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are we going to be stupid? Mm-hmm. And the AI is going to be too smart. In the meantime, I don't know if anybody's experienced this, but I have many times when I call someplace because I need something done or whatever, and they're like, oh, just bear with me, my computer's slow today, or my computer's not online today, so I'll have to call you back tomorrow. So we're depending on AI, and when it crashes, what do we do? You know, so is it going to get too smart for us? I don't know. I think by the time AI becomes a real thing, like a real takeover thing, I'll be dead. So let the young generation that thinks they know it all when they don't know much of anything because they can't even do math in their head, okay? Let them worry about it because they're the ones who are going to need the AI. Because when you go to a store and it comes to $12.43 and you hand them a 20 and then you say, oh, and here's the 43, but they've already typed in the $20, they're like, what do I do now? And they pull out that calculator, and I give them the answer, and they're like, "Oh, really?" And then they calculate and say, "Oh, you're right." I'm like, "Where did you go to? Did you graduate? I mean, did you pay attention in school?" They're the ones who are going to need AI to help them get from day to day.
Listen,
we don't need that.
I suck at math. Any job that I were to ever take, don't put me on the cash register.
Right.
I'm going to tell you that right up front.
Right. But you got 17-year-old kids.
I know.
And the best is we gave them a job, we being whatever business it is, okay? And they're complaining, I still got 3 hours to go before I go home.
And saying this to their other employees.
While you're standing at the register waiting to be served.
Or saying that they're hungover from the night before.
Yeah. And I turn around and I literally say, when you're done bullshitting with your compadre over there, do you mind coming over here and helping me? Because I've been standing here for 10 minutes. And then they look at me annoyed. Offended. How dare I? Okay, I think I told you the story once. I may have said it on here. But I went to a food store, and I got in the line that had a bagger. I was like, yes, because I had a full cart. And the lady in front of me was talking to the bagger, and the bagger was incapable of bagging and talking at the same time. Okay? So she would stop bagging and have this conversation with this customer about bullshit stuff. Oh, I know, the other day my boyfriend said da-da-da, and she was going on, and the customer started bagging for her because the customer was like, this chick is not shutting up. So I was next in line, and I had a full cart, and I can be pretty direct, okay? And when it was my turn and the cashier started scanning, the bagger said to me, hi, how are you? And I says, do me a favor, go bag over there. I'll bag my own. And she's like, well, I'm here to. I said, no, you talk too much. You don't know how to shut up. I says, go over there because you can't do two things at once, and I'll do it myself. And the cashier looked at me when the girl walked away. The cashier looked at me and said, thank you. Because the cashier was getting frustrated. It's like, I'm trying to scan things in here and send it down the line, and it's backing up because this chick's talking too much. Well, I went there about a week later to get something, and she was there again. I got on that line. She looked at me, and she's like, hello. And then she looked down and started begging, and I was like, thank you. And she says, for what? I says, for doing your job. It's very frustrating. And then they complain about AI and all. Come on, people.
We just got a comment. AI produces more jobs than it takes.
That's interesting.
Some has to still monitor the work being done, or someone has to still monitor the work being done, and the AI still needs handlers. But again, produces more jobs than it takes.
Well, what they're talking about now is the technical end of it. Okay, because you have web designers, you have code writers, you have admins, all that stuff, and so they need more of those kind of people to work with the AI. But I don't understand, other than that, where it would give more jobs. It gives more jobs to the technical people. So God bless those people who come out of technical school and networking school and get all these degrees so that they can help create the AI. Yes, it does. But I'd be curious for the person who said that to explain more of what other jobs that mainstream people that don't have any of that skill, how that would benefit.
Well, you're going to have to ask Jed Forbes directly.
Oh, that's my husband who said that? Yeah, because it does, Jed. You're right. Because you, a network admin who works in a very high position with very important people, have that job. Congratulations. But what about me who doesn't even know how to use my fucking phone? Who needs you to quickly send me an email because I lost an email because I was trying to forward it. Instead, I lost it. What about us? How does AI give me a job? And Jed's like, oh, shit, and I shouldn't have said anything at all.
Of course. I read something
Still love you, honey.
I read something the other day, and I'm going to read it here quickly, called Airport Rules for Everyday Life.
Oh, yes.
It is a way of saying that you're treating yourself and anything goes, like eating pizza for breakfast, having a drink at any hour, and wearing pajamas all day. On social media, imagining that you're at an airport sounds like something that requires a little trigger warning, but it's actually about reducing stress and anxiety. Traveling through airports can involve a lot of uncontrollable variables.
Mm-hmm.
You've traveled through many.
Yes.
So many people slip into a treat yourself mode that ignores diets, fitness, and other normal routines. It's anything goes. The idea is expanding that to cope with everyday annoyances. So if someone feels overwhelmed or exhausted with regular life, they announce airport rules are now in effect. And that clears the way for eating pizza for breakfast, having a drink in the middle of the day, apparently, caffeine and energy drinks at any time, comfortable clothes like PJs during the day or when you're going out shopping. Money means nothing, and time of day means nothing when it comes to airport rules. And this was apparently in this article that I was reading, it was a trend that really started kicking into gear right around the elections.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a time for like a free-for-all.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I don't think about it at all.
You know what? I'm really stressed out. So today,
I'm going to put on pajamas and go to the airport.
I'm going to put on pajamas, and I just don't give a shit. And
you know, it's funny because I come from, I lived on Long Island most of my childhood, and then Manhattan, and then upstate New York, and then Las Vegas, and then I came to Vermont. Now, all the other places I lived in everybody was very meticulous about the way they looked. The women had long nails and high heels and slimming outfits, and their hair was done in makeup before they ever left the house, even to go shopping. And if you go into a mall over on Long Island and you walk down the aisles of the mall, the men and women are gorgeous. Even the heavy-set ones and this, they're all gorgeous. I look at them when I go with Jed and we're in a mall on Long Island. I'm like, see, that's the way you should look when you go out in public. You should, for yourself, not for other people.
Self-respect.
Self-respect. And then I moved to Vermont, and the first time Jed said to me, oh, let's go to a bar. Okay, in Burlington, because we lived up in Walden, up in bumfuck Walden, where we were so high on the mountain that you could come outside and you could shake God's hand, because we were in bumfuck Walden, okay? So Jed finally took me down off the mountain, because I was staying home and I was taking care. We had 5 kids at the house, and so I was taking care of them and taking them to school and all that stuff, which was a 20-minute ride down a dirt road to the bus stop. So anyway, so he says, let's go to Burlington. Let me get you off this mountain and into civilization. Let's go to a bar and let's have some fun. And I says, okay. So I got dressed up. I put on these really nice leather pants. I had this great shirt. I wore my cowboy boots.
You have leather pants?
And yeah. And, well, remember, I came from Vegas, where leather pants going to a bar was normal.
Yeah.
Okay?
Should I have leather pants?
No, God, no. So we went to this bar, and I walked in, and I was like, thank God, I'm finally going to socialize and stuff. And I walked in, and there was these people in cut-off jeans, a straw hanging out their mouth, flannel shirts, hair that went 16 different directions, not because of hairspray and stuff, but because they just didn't fucking comb it. And I looked around, and they were looking at me. I said to Jed, please get me the fuck out of here. I feel like a fish out of water. And over the last 20-some-odd years that we've been here, I have learned that people put on their fuzzy slippers and a pair of pajamas and go to the store to pick up something at Nelson's, okay? And I'm like, wow. So it's taken me a long time to down dress myself.
Yeah.
And when I do dress up, people are like, oh, where you going? And I'm like, well, this is kind of normal for me. So what say I about people in pajamas? You know what? You do you, I do me.
Yeah.
I don't look and laugh, nothing. And I just, if I want to walk down the street with my long nails and it offends you, don't look at me.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to wear pajamas to the store and you don't like it, don't look at them.
If it's really early in the morning or really late at night or whatever, and I'm running out to get something for Lily or Sherilyn because they don't feel well, cough syrup, whatever it may be. Or something for myself because, I got a cold, I feel like shit. Maybe a little bit of a fever. I'm just going to throw my boots on and go. I don't give a shit.
And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I've done that too.
Yeah.
I was outside clearing my truck off this morning and making a path to my truck in my pajama pants.
Yeah.
With a heavy shirt and a sweater and a hat and gloves and pajama pants.
Glenn saying, that's pretty obvious. Look at your shirt.
What's wrong with my shirt? Listen, last time I was here, I was told by people that I looked like a fucking vampire because I had a black turtleneck with this black shirt that came up to the sides of me and my white face. And they said, my God, you look like a... So this time I put color in. And what's wrong with my shirt? This is a brand new shirt and brand new pants.
Something I read in the Times-Argus.
I don't know, Glenn. You're always picking on me. I feel like there's no love there.
Something I read in the Times-Argus. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Obviously, if you want to read the whole thing, you should subscribe to the Times-Argus or just buy a paper.
There's a thought.
But here's you got to hear this.
Okay.
I actually started to read this and I was like, whoa. I need to go back and start over. You ready?
Yep.
In an effort, and this was written by Dave Delcourt, in an effort to address sustained reports of troubling behaviors, City Manager Nicholas Storelli-Castro is considering proposing something akin to a short-lived ordinance that the city of Brattleboro has adopted, narrowly adopted, says Dave. The Acceptable Community Conduct Ordinance. That in Brattleboro was promptly petitioned by residents there and rescinded last month at one of the community's representative town meetings. The vote was 75 to 55. Storelli-Castro and Nicholas was just in here, and I think it was like a couple hours after he was in here that I read this, and I would have asked him about it. He said on Monday that Brattleboro's overturned ordinance has provided a potential template for Barrie, which has been struggling with many of the same issues since he proposed offering to pay off-duty police officers overtime to conduct focused foot patrols, and that was back in the fall. And you can read more about it. It goes on from there.
Isn't it a shame that we have to have an ordinance on how to behave in Barrie? I mean, that you can break it down to its simplest form and say, can't we all just get along? I leave you alone if you leave me alone. If you challenge me, I want to know why. And if your reasoning is unfounded, then I come back and retaliate. Okay? But other than that, we talked about this during the holidays, that only around Christmas time people behave, and why can't we just do it every day, all the time? We hear fighting in other houses. They're screaming, they're throwing things out windows, they're this and that. That kind of stuff, those ordinances should be for. Because sometimes when people get heated or whatever, they start acting inappropriate in public, that other people have to be involved in their drama. So that I understand, but don't tell me how to behave in a town, because if something, that's just sad that has to get, that we're getting to that.
Aggressive panhandling was one of the issues that was brought up.
Yes.
And that it has increased in intensity recently.
Well,
I am going to be Rex is going to be in here tomorrow, and I know, oh God, and we are going to be talking about aggressive panhandling. There is a problem that has become so much more of a significant problem in the last recently, buddy.
The problem has become normality. Okay, you go to Price Chopper and they're holding signs out. You go, and what's funny is right next to them is help wanted signs. And I'm like, people, and they say, well, I can't get a job because I don't have an address. Make up a fucking address. Okay, use this city hall as an address. Get a job. Yeah. Okay, but I also noticed, and it was on Facebook, people were spreading around about an individual that is not necessarily all there, that I think was up at the Hannaford's parking lot, that was coming up to people aggressively for money and stuff like that.
Yep.
And right away, everybody on Facebook attacked this person. There wasn't one single person that said, did anybody stop and actually find out what this person needs or get this person help? Instead of calling the police and saying they're irritating me, how about calling the police and saying there's somebody here that needs help? Okay? Can somebody come and find out if this person needs to go to the hospital to be evaluated, whatever the case may be? But this person's reputation, everybody's attacking this person because of their reputation and what they're doing, and nobody's looking at the bigger picture, that this may be another person who's homeless or hungry or cold or whatever, and how can we help them get out of the parking lot demanding stuff and get them the help they need? There's always two sides to every coin, okay? And you have to look at both. And if somebody comes to you aggressively and you want to call the police because you feel uncomfortable, I applaud that. But don't call and say, somebody's aggressively wanting and they're annoying me. Call and say, there's somebody here who needs help. Can somebody come out and find out how this person needs help? Because they're affecting us when we're trying to shop. Okay? I think that's, to me, is more important.
So Judy is saying, gee, you haven't been approached by them. I have, more than once. So here's the thing, G. And I completely...
And Judy, I respect what you're saying, because no, I have not been approached by them, and it's probably a very uncomfortable thing.
It's really intense.
Well, then that person needs to get that person help.
This particular, there's several, okay, but there's two in particular who are just really they're not good people.
Right.
And I don't need to go into detail of how and why they're not good people.
Right.
But it's a public safety issue.
Well, that's, then
When-
call the police and say, get this
Right.
person off and find help for them.
And again, I'm going to be talking.
Yep.
Tomorrow's show, we're going to really take a deep dive on this particular story. But this is something that is, when you're being accosted
Mm-hmm.
really intensely.
Right.
Like if Sherilyn's coming out of Hannaford's or whatever, and she's got Lily, and this person is just not taking no for an answer.
Right.
And getting into close personal space, preventing you from closing the door of your car.
That's not right at all.
Arguing with you, pressuring you.
Mm-hmm.
We've crossed a line here, buddy.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is a public safety thing now.
Absolutely. And Judy, you're absolutely right. I have never experienced that, and I'm going to say, based on me, instead of looking at the humanitarian side of it, which I was trying to do, because like I said, I don't have all the information, so I'm going based on what I've seen.
Sure.
Me, with my personality, could almost guarantee that if this person did this to me, I would be verbally aggressive back. Absolutely, I would. I'd be like, get the fuck away from me before I put you down on the ground, because you are in my space, and I respect that. But then when I finally got into my car, I would probably make a phone call and say, there's somebody who is extremely inappropriately in my face and in other people's faces. Can we pick this person up and bring them to the hospital and find out what's going on? Because they're doing them, but when they do them, they're interfering with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so Judy, you're absolutely right. Thank goodness I haven't run into this person, but I could probably say, with my personality, Judy, that I would be angry and aggressive back as well. So I just think we need to get these people out of this area and some help.
Well, we just got another comment here. Does Judy think an ordinance is going to stop this? No.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The
people are breaking laws all the time, driving and stuff, and there are laws and rules out there. So what makes us think that an ordinance is going to fix it?
The article it's really, again, it's in the Times-Argus. I think it was posted yesterday. This is really something that you ought to read here. I don't want to copy and paste the whole article out of respect to Dave Delcor as the writer of it. You should get online and read it yourself. But our chief, Brad Vail, weighs in on it. And there's going to be a 90-minute forum on January 13th to start at 5 p.m. about this.
Mm-hmm.
On the second floor meeting room at Alumni Hall up at the Barry Auditorium, to speak with community members, an opportunity for people to express their concerns and get some feedback. I'm just kind of...
you're reading it while you're
reading
talking.
It as... I'm paraphrasing here.
If we're going to put an ordinance out there that's going to be effective, then we need to have individuals out there that are enforcing those ordinances. Because a lot of times, some of the things that happen after hours,
right,
at nighttime, late at night, things like that. You can't just make up an ordinance or a rule or a law and not enforce it. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's a shame that we're at that point, but when we're running into situations like people going to a food store to shop with their family and getting bombarded with people that aren't right, and they're people that are a menace to us individually, or harmful, getting in our face or whatever, we need to have enforcement for that. And the enforcement has to be strong and swift so
Yeah.
that people know that this is not just an ordinance, but it's being enforced.
Our manager, Nicholas Storelli Castro, also says that Chief Vale is making some headway filling vacancies on the department. At least 2 recruits are scheduled to attend the Vermont Police Academy starting next month. And the trainings will run through the end of May.
Why don't we join the police academy, you and I?
Oh, dear Lord.
Why don't we? And then we can have a car. We'll go out as partners, and we'll enforce it. JD&G in a police car, enforcing the ordinance.
Can I wear my leather pants?
You better not have leather pants. In my community, you'd be wearing just a leather vest with no shirt,
All right.
and they would call you a bear.
All right. All right.
I'm just saying, you brought it up. You said leather pants. Glenn, didn't he ask if he could wear leather pants? And I told him no, and he's still on the topic? Come on. You'd get a lot of people would be like, ooh, daddy.
Listen, forget about Glenn. I love your shirt. Okay?
It's a brand new, and it's got a stitching look that matches the stitching pants. Come on.
I'm going to ask you a serious question
Yes.
here. One of these Thursdays when you come back, can I wear that shirt?
You may. Well, you would never fit in it. This is a size small.
What are you saying?
I'm saying your arm might fit in.
You saying I'm overweight?
No, I just say
Are you saying I'm overweight?
No, I'm just saying you're big boned and stocky.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Big boned.
All right. Got to go with something. Let's go. You know what? If you're comfortable in your skin, then you do you. This is what people don't understand when I tell them, when they say, yeah, I don't like that. People, do you. You don't have to like my shirt, Glenn. Okay? I don't have a beard. You do. I mean, does that mean I'm going to say something? No. Who cares?
Mark Miller says, Car 54, where are you?
We want to be 1 Adam 13, not 1 Adam 12. Because we got to see the man at 1 Adam 13, see the man on Main Street of Barrie panhandling himself.